Last night was the UFC Fight Pass Invitational 4, and in case you didn't want to stay up until 1 in the morning on a Thursday night watching jiu-jitsu, I did for you. And since I did this favor for you, maybe you can do me a favor and subscribe to the channel since it's free and really helps me out. The main event was Craig Jones versus Felipe Pena. You also had Nicholas Marigali versus Cyborg. There was an absolute division tournament for $30,000, and you had Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Smith. A pretty stacked card. Here's everything that you missed in under 5 minutes, and we will start with the tournament. The tournament was won by Nicky Rod, who submitted Dan Manasoyev in overtime despite Nicky Rod's arm looking like it was about to snap like 30 seconds before he won. It was incredibly impressive. Nicky Rod then went on to call out Gordon Ryan for a 10-minute match, but he said he wants both of them to be tested by USADA before and after the match. I'm here for that drama. And at the time of me recording this, Gordon has not yet responded, and I'm sure the response will be spicy, but that's why it's not in this video. Dan Manasoyev is a name that if you didn't already know him, you should know him by now. The guy weighed in at 286 pounds. He does not move like a guy who weighs 286 pounds. His jiu-jitsu is really, really good. He's a teammate of Gordon Ryan and it's definitely someone to watch. He also had one of the coolest subs of the night when he hit this counter knee bar, a knee bar technique that I personally love because one of my teammates tries to do it to me every single time we train, so I was a big fan. In the Marigali versus Cyborg match, we went to overtime and Marigali was able to get the armbar finish in overtime to take the win. I mentioned in the intro, one of the things I really like about these cards on Fight Pass is how they bring in former or current UFC fighters to do grappling matches. I think it's great for bringing in more eyes to the sport of jiu-jitsu. This match was Anthony Smith versus former UFC light heavyweight champion Glover Teixeira. This was a little different than the other matches on the card. This was a 3-round match and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of back and forth. Both guys had good moments. In the end, I thought Glover Teixeira won and the judges agreed with me and Glover won a unanimous decision. On to the main event, featuring two people that Gordon Ryan hates the most, Craig Jones and Felipe Pena. There was a lot of wrestling in regulation and we ended up in overtime where there was a lot of action, but ultimately once we did all the math, Craig Jones was the winner based on the ride time / escape time. But overall, it was a good match. It was a lot of fun. Overall, the event itself was a lot of fun. Doing the tournament with $30,000 up for grabs, plus having some of the biggest names in the sport in the main event and the co-main event, and having UFC fighters on the card at the same time. Just a cool event. I love these things. There were a lot of overtimes and I understand why the average spectator might not enjoy watching that when there's no submission and you go 6, 8, 10 minutes before you get to the actual jiu-jitsu part of the match. But for me, I'm a jiu-jitsu nerd. I still love it. It's still a lot of fun to watch. Good event. Thanks for watching my breakdown. Do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel because I will be watching all of the things that you don't want to stay up late for and giving you a breakdown the next day. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.